All right, now we rewind to Monday night and a battle in New York between the Knicks and Nets. Brooklyn had a good handle on this one for most of the second half as Kyrie Irving could not be stopped to the tune of 34 points on 13 for 18 shooting, along with James Harden becoming the first net in franchise history to tally at least 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists in a game. The Knicks rallied late and had a chance on the final possession, but Julius Randle was called for a travel with 3 seconds left, with the Knicks down by just 3 points. It was the 13th win in 14 tries for Brooklyn, and they sit just one game back of the East leading 76ers. The Knicks currently sit just a half game up for the eighth and final playoff spot. All right, Drink, I was surprised at how entertained I ended up being with this game. What'd you think of it?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I listen. So in true 100% transparency, right? We talked about this game and we was like, hey man, we want to talk about this game on the show. Let's watch the game.
We
I'm
said,
like,
didn't we
Knicks.
say that there was 4 games Monday and Tuesday, and we saw that we're like, let's see how that one goes, and maybe we'll throw it
Right.
in. And
Maybe,
then,
yeah. If it don't turn out that well, we'll just replace it. We'll
yeah,
put old
just
NFL one. Hey, we're
yeah,
gonna just
flex
time
it
slide
out.
it, right? And so, right, so that's what I'm thinking. So I'm watching this game and I'm like, okay, the Knicks actually making this a game against the Nets, right? Like we're like, wait, James Harden playing, Kyrie playing. Okay, all right, cool. And then let's just fast forward to that fourth quarter because that's what got me. Listen, I said this to you earlier. You know, Tom Thibodeau has this reputation about himself, being a defensive guy, very strong on defense, very tough coach, and from what I understand, that's his calling card is the defense. And we seen that Derrick Rose led, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, the Bulls team, Taj Gibson, all those guys, and we seen how good those teams. I think the team made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Derrick Rose won the MVP during that 10 years. So that team was on the come up and was basically because of their defense, because Tom Thibodeau coached them very hard on defense. And that broke up. Tom Thibodeau went his way, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and everybody just went everywhere, right? When Tom Thibodeau came back, I think his first job back was with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he had the worst defensive team in the league, like his whole tenure there. So, like, a lot of people like myself was wondering, why do I have to hear all this hype about Tom Thibodeau and his team is not even that good on defense? They're better on offense than they are on defense. And, so on and so forth. He got fired. He took some time off. And then he landed this New York Knicks job. And I'm like, listen, we know how the New York media is. Tom Thibodeau about to get ripped apart because he's going to go there flopping around like he just did in Minnesota. And he's going to get the 2-piece and a biscuit. And I mean the biscuit. Make sure it's got the honey on it from Churches. So I, myself, was very impressed with the Knicks' late game defense. And I know they was playing defense all throughout the game. You got to understand, especially when Kevin Durant come back, the Nets is a very high-scoring team. I'm talking about all-star game points over here, folks. They could throw up a $160 on you and make you look crazy, right? And that's doing regulation. That ain't 7 overtimes later. Like, that's doing regulation, right? So as I'm watching this game and I'm watching Kyrie, he doing his thing, he cooking, he being Kyrie, Harden being Harden. So it wasn't like they wasn't there. They was doing their thing. But what I think surprised a lot of people was how good Julius Randle is. Like, we've been hearing the rumblings. We've been hearing, oh, this guy, he comes out of Duke. I meant Kentucky, my bad. He comes out of Kentucky and he's one of the best one and done John Calipari ever had. And then he got drafted real high. And then, it didn't really work out in his first stop with. Did he get drafted by the Lakers, right? He got drafted real high by the Lakers, and he was just one of those young Lakers guys that got lost in the shuffle. And Magic Johnson came in there, get him out of here, get him out of here too. I don't know you, but you out of here too. So they kind of got him out of here, and he got lost in the shuffle. He was down in New Orleans, but long story short, remember when the Knicks signed him in the offseason? It was like, what? Your big acquisition was Julius Randle? Man, please. I myself, I had a whole mouthful. Fast forward to now, the Knicks might got him something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put a little respect on their name. Just like you said, I was very entertained. The Knicks, they need a. I think they do need a star because this ain't the 04 Pistons, but I do think if they get them like they don't need like somebody crazy, but if they get a league, no crowd. If Julius Randle is your lead guy, you get a clear cut number 2 guy with a little resume behind him, a leader or something. Listen, I don't know, but I enjoy watching the Knicks. I hope we get this version of the Knicks outside of the travel call. I hope we get this version of the Knicks for the rest of the year. I hope, and they look poised to make the playoffs. And let's talk about that play, though. I got to talk about that play. Because this play had, if you ever seen Friday, and you seen where Debo snatched the chain off Red, and Smokey and Craig sitting on the front porch, they like, oh, he going to cry on the way to the car. That's what I felt about Julius Randle. I was like, he going to cry on the way to the crib. Because the way they got themselves in that position with those 3 tremendous defensive plays, I've never seen a team make the other team 3 top. Well, it was like 2 tops and a turnover or something like that. I was like, this is incredible. This is remarkable defense right here. And if you remember, one of the tops, they actually had the challenge for it. So I was like, they're not going to get this. The referee's not going to agree to this on a challenge. Get out of here. That's going to be a foul because refs don't like to be wrong. So I'm like, if this goes to replay, they're going to say it's a foul somewhere now. Sure enough. Successful challenge. We're going to have a jump ball at it. I was like, yo. So, yes, my entertainment factor from that point was like, Lord, this game is crazy. And then they win the jump ball. Go down. I think they scored in that possession because I think what happened was the Nets scored again, and then they end up with the last possession. And poor Julius Randle. I don't know what Julius Randle was arguing, but you cannot go up and down with the ball. I don't know what the problem was, why he was so mad. I know because if I understand the game of basketball, the player can touch the ball. I thought the player had to dislodge the ball from your possession. That's when you can go up and down. That's what I thought.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this. I have to check, but I think if a defensive player touches the ball, you can come back down with it. That's what I think. I'm not sure. We'll have to verify that. But that, okay. I mean, that had to have been why he was so upset because you could clearly see on the replay that there was a clear touch of the ball, which because he was about to shoot the ball and try to tie the game, and whoever it was, put his hands on the ball. So. Again, we'd have to clarify our understanding, but that was definitely what the disagreement was. And he was not pleased, kicking chairs and everything.
Right. He deserved to be mad. That was a game that could have took him to the next level. That was very televised, national televised game.
He played great, by the way. He played great.
He played great. I can understand his frustration. And, if that's the rule, what I got out of that, though, was this is why they need more than one challenge. That's why the one challenge thing is kind of crap. If you're going to get them, at least get them like every other sport. Give them multiple challenges because they took the one challenge and they won, so that was a good challenge. And I guarantee you if they would have had a second one, they would have used it right there and most likely got the ball back because we seen them touch the ball. The reason I didn't get, outraged because I thought the ball had to be dislodged. I didn't know if they just touch it. It's a live ball. You can pick the dribble back up again. So that confused me a little bit, but I would have liked it to see that the team would have got another challenge call, challenge that play. And if you say no, it would have been controversy the next day, but at least they would have had a chance to fix, rectify the problem. But with that said, man, I was just heartbroken for Julius Randle. For a guy to play, for the Knicks in general, to play as hard as they played, they had a chance to beat what I think is the best team in the East, the Brooklyn Nets. They had a chance to beat them, and they had a chance to beat them at home. By the way, I know the fans thing ain't that big of a but you gotta understand, both of these teams in New York, they boroughs away from each other. So this trash talk gonna go a long way. So the Knicks was trying to get some juice going in there, and. Listen, shout out to the Knicks. I ain't even gonna say nothing bad about the Knicks. I still don't like James Dolan. He still need to give up the team. But the team that was on the court, Thibodeau, whoever the GM is, because I don't pay the Knicks that much attention. Listen, that I like that product that was out there. I really did. I enjoyed that product. I thought it was fun. Julius Randle, first year being an All-Star. I see why. He definitely deserved the nod. I see what he got going on. And shout out to the Knicks. Now, I guess I got to say something about the Knicks because they was playing the game. But I think the most important thing I can say about them is what you said in the lead-in. 13 wins out of 14. So we do know Kevin Durant stopped playing a long time ago. Like, he ain't played in I don't know how long. And they just roll it. Like, they roll it. Like, that. It's not as you can say. They didn't beat every good team. Any team you consider good, the Nets to beat them. Lakers, Clippers, Bucks. Like, you name them, they done knocked them down. So, you know, do I think this lineup will have some problems once the playoffs start? Yes, because then you can strategize against them. You get 7 games to build a game plan against them. But as far as regular season, night in, night out, I'm telling you, this team, if Kevin Durant was playing, this is a 160-point team here. Like, just throwing up points. So, I thought this would have been a big launching pad for the Knicks, but we'll see, man. But I'm definitely excited to see them more.
Yeah, I think the best thing I can say about the Knicks, and they're a serious NBA team. You know, this is, by the way, congratulations to the New York Knicks, not only for, you know, being relevant, somewhat relevant in the East and all that, but this is the first time the Knicks have had a segment about an actual game they played in. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, I think the last Knicks segment we may have done was you remember who was it? Frickin' Frack or whoever. It was Scott Perry and
what's his name? Calling out the team.
Yeah, I can't remember who. Sam Mills? No, was it Sam Mills? I can't remember.
Maybe, but I remember what you're talking about.
But you know, it was them two fellas. You know, them two clowns who were up there doing a press conference and talking about,
right?
Oh, we expected to be better than this, and we were like, "What are you talking about?" And then what was it? Hornacek or whoever it was, he was fired like in the next couple of weeks or something. That was the last time. And by the way, Scott Perry is still the GM. Scott Perry's there, so Frick or Frack or whichever one you want to call him, he's still there. They brought in that fella Leon Rose as the basketball president of basketball operations.
Wasn't that Fizdale?
Fizdale. It was David Fizdale. You're right. And it was Steve Mills, by the way. Steve Mills and Scott Perry. I called him frickin' Frack. But you know what they've done, and bringing in Tom Thibodeau, and I'm happy for Thibodeau. I'm happy for the Knicks. Julius Randle is something else. You know, I can see why he made the All-Star team, because remember we was talking about the All-Star lineups, and you know, Julius Randle and Zach LaVine and Vucevic and some of these guys, and Conley. I don't know about some of these guys. I stand corrected. I owe you an apology, Julius Randle, because 33 in 41 minutes, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and he's averaging like 23, 11, and 6 on the year, and he can shoot it. This guy couldn't shoot worth anything for his whole career, and from last year to this year, he's improved from 28% to 41, 42%. So he's not only is he shooting it better, he's dramatically improved, and he showed it on Monday night. And you know, that's for Julius Randle to lead this team, basically when it was all said and done, toe to toe with the likes of Kyrie Irving and James Harden. And I know they didn't have KD, and you know, so you know, KD plays, and maybe we could talk about just a whitewashing, and we wouldn't even bother discussing it because we flex it. But I mean, that's an accomplishment nonetheless, because not only was you playing against Kyrie and James Harden, but Kyrie was just in a zone of himself last night. It didn't matter. You know, it's just one of those nights where he's just hitting from everywhere. I mean, 13 of 18 for a perimeter guy who takes a lot of perimeter shots is that's something special. And James Harden, he just had control of the game, you know, for most of the night. And I think it's smart how Brooklyn has done this, and they have, at least for James Harden and Kyrie Irving, they have clearly defined who's going to do what. Right. James Harden, who we think of as a traditional shooting guard, is running the point. And Kyrie Irving, who has the stature of a point guard, is playing off the ball. And I think that's probably the right way to play it. Because James Harden, he can do more than Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is going to score the ball. James Harden can run the point. He can score. He can rebound. He can do a little bit more. I think they're playing it as they should. So credit for Steve Nash. Um, but it is going to come down in the playoffs to will they get? I don't know. I don't know if you can figure them out. But teams are going to have a chance to implement a strategy over a series. But it's
Right.
going to be tough because assuming everyone's healthy, who are you going to try to stop? Because you can't focus in on all three of them. You can't
See,
focus in on KD, Kyrie, and Harden. You're going to have to try to take one or two of them away, and whoever the guy that you pay less attention to, he's subject to beat you.
I feel like the way so you can't stop them. So what you got to do is you're gonna have to make them play defense, and
Yeah.
I feel like this is why the Lakers, the Clippers, like bigger teams, can do this because what you got to do is get them in foul trouble, get them to exert more energy on the defensive side. You ain't gonna stop them, but you
Right.
can make it more harder on them. And then that's what I think because if you go in there talking about let me try to stop Kyrie, KD, Harden, good luck.
Right.
But,
Yeah, and you're right. I don't think you can stop them, but I think you're going to have to, formulate an approach to where you focus in on maybe Kyrie or Harden. You're going to have to focus on someone or maybe two of them. And maybe we let KD go off and we say we can't do nothing with KD. Let KD do what he do. We'll focus more on Harden or Kyrie. Some type of strategy like that. But that is absolutely right. You're gonna have to be efficient when you have the ball. Best offense is a good defense, and you're gonna have to take care of the ball. You can't give up easy baskets. You can't give away possessions because that's going to hurt you. And that was something the Knicks actually did pretty well last night. They only turned the ball over 8 times. The problem was, and I think Doris Burke did a good job of breaking it down. The Knicks overall as a team, they're not all that explosive offensively. They got a big lift in this game from Reggie Bullock, who made a bunch of threes for him and helped them out from the perimeter along with Julius Randle. But overall, they're not explosive on the perimeter. I mean, you think about guys like R.J. Barrett, for example. You don't think of him as a three-point shooter. Well, I thought he played pretty well in this game, made 10 free throws. But they struggle, the Knicks, on the season.
Wait. Did you think he was good because he made 10 free throws or he did something else?
No, I thought I didn't mean that as a joke. That's just one thing I remember about the game. He made a bunch of free throws. He got to the line. He drew fouls. But overall, I think on the season they just struggle to shoot the ball from the perimeter. And in this game, the shooting disparity is crazy. Brooklyn shot at 58%. The Knicks shot 40% in this game. They did take a bunch of threes, and they made 15 of 42. But just overall, this is a team. The Knicks are an example of a team who Brooklyn, their defensive intensity, it kind of came and went, and it for the most part I didn't think it was really there. I thought the Knicks, they had a lot of open shots. They just couldn't cash in when it counted. And if Brooklyn's going to have to continue to work on that, because the trap they can fall into is they can, and I think it's real easy for them. They can get into the mindset of like, we are so talented offensively that we can, we don't have to play defense on this possession or this possession. Or we can take a few minutes off against really good teams that they're going to meet in the playoffs. That's going to be dangerous. So Steve Nash got to do the best he can to keep them engaged and keep them focused. But I do want to say one more thing. I think that was Emmanuel Quickly's first start. And I was impressed with him. The end numbers at the end don't blow you away, but that's a guy he's talented, and he's not shy from the moment. He was launching from everywhere. No fear in that young man. Kentucky could use a few more like that this year.
Right. Right.